What's up, everybody? My name is Jeremy Duran, and this is the No Holds Podcast. So excited to be back. So excited. Man, I missed it. I know I've had some things going on, been pretty busy, but man, it's just it's awesome to be back on here. My wife will actually be doing this with me, of course. She is a talker, but I would say, she's probably better than this than me. Um, I know she's going to do an awesome job. She can man, she's just an unbelievable person. I love you, girl. I do. I love you. But man, it's just an honor, father and son, to have you guys, here. Of course, we have Carter Johnson. He's been here before. Then he brought his dad, Chris Johnson.
Glad to be here.
Man, I'm so honored that you guys are here. I'm so honored that you're here to have, like I said, father and son. It's just a blessing to see that. It's not a lot. Not a lot of people have father figures or even a dad in their life. So to see that, like to see even just y'all have an awesome relationship, it's perfect. It's perfect.
It's not perfect, I promise.
I'm gonna ask y'all a couple questions. What is your biggest fear?
Biggest fear. You asking him or you asking me?
Carter, we'll go with you first.
I feel like you asked me this last time. My biggest fear. Biggest fear. I don't know. Probably not making it to heaven. I'm not afraid of that though. I don't know. Not reaching my full potential in my walk with God.
Mm,
Yeah.
that's good. That's good. Man,
Like I don't want to be wasted potential.
yeah, there you go.
Like if I can do more, I want to go deeper. I want to do more. I don't know.
No, I totally understand. That's
Yeah.
a good answer. It's a very good answer. What about you? What you got, Chris?
Well, I guess always my biggest fear was being able to take care of my family for the longest time. So make sure that they had everything they needed, and because I think that's probably most men's fears that start a family. But after a while, I guess grew, I don't even know what the word is for it, but I knew God was going to provide for us. So that was always a burden off my back. But even when times got lean for us financially, I knew we were going to be okay. So that was something I could always fall back on, knowing that was.
Yes, and then that's actually a really good answer too, because I can relate to that too. Actually, to both of y'all say, because I have been in that position to where it's like, man, we have financially, it's like we're not gonna make it. Like I don't even see, like we're not gonna make it past next week. Like I don't know how we're gonna eat. I mean, we do have some like, canned foods and stuff, but it's like God always provides. He always has a way, and it's just amazing to see that. So yeah, I love that answer too. Love it. What are you grateful for?
My family, of course, my father and my mother, but God too. Even like when I was going to youth and like those seeds were being planted, and then graduated high school and left high school and kind of drifted away from my faith and just my relationship with God. He never turned his back away from me, So I'm really grateful for Jesus, just never rejecting me, always taking me back in. Even when I didn't feel worthy of his love, his arms are always open. So I'm grateful for my family, all that he's done for me. The time I had with my mom, just my grandparents, just family. And I don't know, just the people who have impacted my life, leaders from the church, and just, I don't know, anyone. That's family, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, I'm grateful for family and people that love me, of course. And I'm not taking those things lightly, but I'm grateful for experience, like just getting to go through the things that we get to go through and even when they're hard, sometimes it's still fun, you know, if you'll let it be.
Yeah.
Even the challenging stuff. So I'm grateful for that stuff.
Man, yeah, that's awesome. I like that. I like that. What's the biggest risk you've ever taken?
I should go first.
Biggest risk I've ever taken. Man, you have to come back. I don't know.
Um. Hmm. I feel like quitting college was a big risk that I was taking. There's a lot of pressure and emotions leading up to that decision. So yeah, I would say quitting college was a big risk.
I don't know.
Okay.
You've taken some risks, bro.
Like what?
I don't know. Having a divorced mom, that was a risk.
Yeah. And
Starting a family.
yeah.
I mean, I don't. It's a risk, but it's like I would say it's a good risk to me.
Worth it risk.
Like worth it risk. Like it's.
You know, going through the divorce with your mom, it wasn't really. Of course, it was risky, but it wasn't a risk. It was the hardest thing I ever had to do. You know, I took my vows very young, and I didn't really understand what those vows meant until I was backed in a corner facing what I was facing with her mental illness and being able to protect these guys as far as on paper, what was legal and right, you know. And when I went to file for divorce, it really hit me what those vows meant. And I struggled with it for years.
Mm. How old were you when you got married?
18.
18.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. High school sweetheart, I guess?
Yeah. Junior high school sweetheart.
Junior high and high school
Yeah.
sweetheart. Wow.
But, yeah, we can get into more of that later if y'all want. But
Yeah. Man, yeah. It's like I want to keep going from there, but yeah, I'm gonna. We'll wait until a little later, because this is a question I did want to ask: is who is your hero and why? And I want to ask you first.
my biggest hero has been my granddad. It's someone I can always go to because he instilled such work ethic in me and tenacity to not quit. And I got that from my dad as well, but I guess I really admired my granddad because he was an old man to me, you know, and he was still doing these physical things that I was just like, wow,
Yes.
you know, I don't have anything to complain about.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that too. Yes. Sir.
So yeah, for me, it's always been my granddad.
I asked Carter this when he was on the podcast, and he said you were his biggest hero. When you heard that, how did it affect you?
It's not. I don't know. I guess I don't feel like a hero in any way, you know. But it made me feel good. But I definitely don't feel like one. I don't feel like I did a lot of things right. I know we did some things right, but I feel like I did more wrong than I did right. But
I think what makes you my hero is that you never gave up on us as family. I don't know. Always, like, I'm sure there was days where you didn't want to go to work.
absolutely.
And just I don't know, just digging deep as a single parent and making sure like we got everything that we needed.
The days I didn't want to go to work, there was days I didn't want to come home. I got to make dinner when I get home.
Yeah.
But you know, you said you were going to touch on that. Yeah, I was doing it as a single parent for a long period of time, but these kids that I've got, I was blessed. I mean, they are top-notch kids. They pitched in where I couldn't fill, they filled the gaps where they needed to be filled.
But they get that from you, though. I mean, you may not see that. You may see something like, man, I messed up here, and I messed up here, and I messed up here. But to them, it's like, but you did good here, you did good here, you did good here, and that's what I'm seeing, and that's why, I mean, I would say yeah, like my dad would be a hero of mine. I mean, I would say, but I mean, I can definitely see why Carter the way he is too is because of you. Like he doesn't stop, he doesn't quit. You know, he may think that college was a failure or something, but no, but it's more of like no, I'm getting pushed further and going in deeper into something else. So I don't know, maybe that kind of answers too, but 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 yeah, how were you growing up? Were you just like when you see Carter? Was that you growing up? The exact mentality, everything.
Yes and no. Like we were very like-minded as far as liking sports and being active and competitive, but I did not have near the discipline that he had to listen to, especially authority. Uh, that was tough to admit. It took me a long time to realize. I think when I started coaching him, it really hit me how stubborn I was as a kid. Sorry, mom and dad. you know, and I'm glad I was able to recognize it. You know, even though it was kind of late, but I think it helped me be able to open his eyes to be coachable, not only from an athletic coach, but by all adults. I think if he felt like he respected them, to learn something from them. I think where I think my granddad was the only one that could really get me to learn something from him when I was a teenager and a young man.
Yeah. How what kind of relationship did you have with your dad?
It was great. I mean, he taught me how to hunt and fish, and I never felt like I was going to be without with him. Uh, love him to death. Yeah, it was. I felt like a typical childhood. I was a baby, but Dad did. He'd move. I felt at a critical time when I was a teenager, and that might be where my stubbornness comes from. Some he moved to California for work. I mean, but he was gone for the better part of 2 years. It was during my 14 to 16-year age, So it was kind of tough. I mean, he came home some, but it was to see mom and you know.
Are you the only child?
No,
You
absolutely.
said you were just a baby.
Yeah,
Out of how many?
I was the important one.
You were the
No, three. I have an older brother and an older sister.
Okay, gotcha. Man, that would be hard to just move away, I mean, back then, I guess they all did it back then. I felt like
I feel like, of course, I wasn't an adult yet, so I don't know, but I know jobs were a lot leaner back then, and you kind of went where you had to. You did what you had to, which I know guys are doing that today too, but there's a lot more job opportunity, I think, now than there was then.
so as a teenager, were you also a pretty good kid? Or I know you said you started getting kind of stubborn then, so how were you as a teenager?
I was ornery, and I did a lot of stupid things. I drank a lot, dabbled in marijuana and stuff, teenager things. But I mean, there's a lot of teenagers that don't do that too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't say I was a horrible. I was good at hiding it. I guess I never got caught.
Yeah.
I'm sure my parents knew at times, but
It's crazy how parents just know.
yeah,
I mean, there's things that I did, and my mom, I felt like she just knew. She knew what I was doing, but she didn't say much. But I don't know. Maybe I just didn't hide it well enough.
yeah.
I have no idea.
I feel like I was a pretty good kid overall.
And you started dating in junior high,
Well, boyfriend, girlfriend.
boyfriend, girlfriend in junior high. Went on into high school,
Mm-hmm.
and then at 18, decided to get married.
Yeah.
What was that like? How did you propose?
Uh, Well, we basically, I was getting ready to graduate high school, and my parents were talking about college and going to Colorado, and I was like, I didn't want to do it. So we got pregnant in order to get married,
Oh, okay.
you know. So we kind of said, you know what, we're going to set our own course. Y'all got to like it now. You know, it's kind of how it was.
Yeah. And what about her parents? How were like?
She was raised by a single mom, and she was a very devout Christian woman, strong woman.
Mm,
Uh, she raised 4 kids. But yeah, just an all-American single family, I guess, single
Yeah.
family.
yeah.
But, she's great. I mean, they still keep in touch, so.
Oh, that's good. So when Carter was born, what did that feel like?
It felt amazing. I mean, he was supposed to be a girl, actually.
Yeah.
So when he was born and he was not a boy, I was like, it's her. But no, I was, after being so scared with Andrew, my first one.
Okay, so there was another one before.
Yeah.
Okay,
He
that's
didn't-
right.
He didn't know that I had.
I
an older
didn't
brother.
know that
when
he
he
had an
interviewed.
older brother. I did
Yeah.
not know that. Okay, let's take this. So Andrew was first at
Yes.
18.
Mhm.
And then, okay, so when you had Andrew, I guess, yeah.
I was scared, you know. I'm trying to throw my dad out there under the bus, but you know, when I knew I wasn't going to graduate high school, I did. I was a half credit short of graduating, and I knew I wasn't going to before I even knew I was getting married.
Mm.
And my dad, after we kind of set everything down and told them we were pregnant, we're going to get married, I was going to go join the military. Is what my plans were. We were like, that's what we'll do. And you know, my dad had made a comment that if I didn't graduate high school, that he wasn't going to help me. And I probably took it harder than he meant it, but I was like, okay, you know, I'll do it all by myself. That's fine.
Yeah.
And I was bitter for a while, but I've gotten over it. I know he didn't mean it. I know he was out of love, you know.
Mhm.
Kind of like when he quit college, what we were talking about is I felt like, oh, he doesn't have a direction, you know.
Yeah.
And just fear, I think, makes us say things that
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir.
we wish we could take back or didn't mean that harshly, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody's guilty of it.
Yeah, I think so too. Yes, sir.
Kind of trailed off there. I don't even remember what I was talking about.
Talking about Andrew.
Yeah. I trailed way off, didn't I?
That's all right. It's all right.
So yeah, I was scared, and Dad saying that to me, and believe it or not, well, I'm sure it's not hard to believe, but they went to, I don't even want to throw their church under the bus, but where they went to church, a lot of the elder people that I was kind of looking up to, because I'd been going to church with them a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
were telling my mother-in-law that I was not any good.
Mm.
And that she was going to be raising our kid, all these things, you know. And it just, I guess in a way, maybe God meant for me to hear it because it lit a fire under me. I was not going to let that happen.
Yeah, yeah.
And, you know, after having Andrew, because he's almost 4 years older than Carter, after experiencing that and knowing that we were going to be okay after 4 years, it was a lot more relaxing when Carter was born.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, I grew a lot, you know, especially those first 4 years.
Definitely. Definitely. I know whenever I first had
If I had it to do over again, I would work less.
work less.
And that's kind of a here and there thing too, because I didn't think I could get another job, you know. So, but I was working 85, 90 hours a week
Oh,
at
wow.
that time, yeah. So I didn't see Andrew near enough, and our relationship still suffers from it, I think.
Mm.
from that way back then.
Yes, sir.
I mean, we have a good relationship. We love each other for sure, but we're not as close as
Yeah,
I'd like to be for sure.
I got you. Yes, sir. Man, that is tough. That is tough. Just not having, because I forgot that you had an older son, you had an older brother. I totally forgot about that.
I think it's because he's so much older. I think the 4 years, especially for in school, a lot of people never knew that they were even brothers.
Yeah.
Is he from here, right? Graduated from
Yeah.
here?
We're just don't have a lot in common. I don't know. I would say we're completely two different. Yeah.
It's crazy how you start really seeing different types of personalities when you have your own kids and see how different that they all are.
So did that make you realize, okay, when Carter was born, I'm going to spend as much time as I can with this one? Or did that change at all?
It did. But Carter differed from Andrew because as soon as I walked through the door, this one was on my leg. Come throw me a ball.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas Andrew didn't. But I think maybe it's because I wasn't there to start with
Oh, okay.
the sports. Which his mom tried some with him. It's different. Like you said, a father figure is different.
Yes, sir. No, it is. I know. I mean, people have heard this before, but my dad died when I was 9. So, and my mom, she raised the 3 of us on her own. So I do understand like not having that father figure, or even somebody just trying to take the place of my dad. It's not the same, even though they tried. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure and not to say I have any kind of resentment or am bitter towards my dad. Like he did what he can do, while he was here. But some of the traits that he did have, I felt like I took them and I've used them not in a bad way, but in a way I didn't want to use them. Like when it came to sports, with my daughter, Ebony, like I would push her so hard. Well, that's what my dad did to me. So were you like that also?
I was with Andrew, like whenever he did finally start doing sports. And I wished I would have realized it quicker. I probably realized it by the end of that soccer season that he signed up for, that I was being way too hard on him. He's a little bitty guy, And I was being really hard on him.
Yeah.
And I was hard on Carter when we got to him, but I also knew when to stop.
Yes, sir.
Like, kids are hard enough on themselves.
Oh yeah, yes sir, yeah, definitely. I mean, kids even nowadays, like they're just social media and everything just kind of get to them more to get in their heads, and then when you have the parents kind of going after them for something, it just brings them down even more, So
Yeah, I wished I had the maturity then when Andrew was little, because he has the biggest heart in the world, and I didn't embrace him for what it was at the time,
yes sir, yeah.
He just had no cares, and everything was sunshine and rainbows,
Mm-hmm.
And I see it now, but I wasn't fully in there at the time.
Yeah. No, I understand. I definitely understand that. Was raising either Carter or Andrew or even Kat, like, did you ever think like, okay, I'm gonna raise these kids, like not say better, but yeah, better than my dad raised me. I'm gonna be in their life more than my dad was to me. Like that's how I raised my kids. Like of course I didn't have a dad, so I'm trying to build a relationship with them. Something that I wanted as a kid, I'm trying to do that with them now. Like, was that ever in your mind at all?
Well, if anything, at times I wanted to do it at least as good, because I never felt unloved. I never felt unprovided for.
That's right, yeah.
Because when you feel like you're failing at something, of course it feels 100 times worse than it is.
Mm-hmm.
And you feel like not only are you letting yourself down and your kids down, but your parents are looking at you too, and it feels like you're letting the world down. It's heavy. And I think that's just human nature, I guess,
Yeah. Yes, sir. Are you the type of person that holds everything in? Like when you get home, it's like you push everything back and it's just about the family.
I'm a lot better at it now than I was when they were young. I would. I wasn't angry all the time, but I did have short temper for things, And I realize that now, but I didn't realize it at the time.
Mm.
But I was always quick to apologize. I knew I was in the wrong, but I just couldn't control it for whatever reason. And I think it was just stress.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize, hey, it's going to be okay. We got tomorrow to work on this. It's not a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yes, sir. Yeah. No, I mean,
And if I'm not here tomorrow, I didn't need to work on it anyway. You know?
Yeah. Man. So, what did you think of as your dad? Like growing up, how was it with your dad?
I think I always looked up to him, and we had a good relationship through sports. I feel like that's what we built our relationship around. And I don't know, I always knew he was short-tempered, and I feel like I always knew when to ask him for things or if I could go do something.
Or he'd send his sister.
No, Catherine would be sending me. Because Catherine would beat around the bush and like wouldn't get to the point. And I just knew when to go ask him and when not to go ask him. But for the most part, I don't know, I feel like we had a pretty solid relationship. I don't know. Like I said, I feel like until I quit college, when I quit college, I feel like it opened my eyes up that our whole relationship was around sports. Like honestly, like that's all we talked about really was basketball and stuff. So when I quit, it was like, one, I didn't know who I was away from basketball. And I felt like it was hard on him too, me quitting, because that was something big in my life that we connected through. So after that was stripped away, or me quitting, just, I wouldn't say our relationship sucked then, but it was kind of rocky. And then we got really close when I went to work where he's working after the oil field went down. And when I went to work with him, it made me respect him a lot more. I always respected my dad, but just seeing what he does day in and day out, and he's been doing that since he was 18. So like, yeah, when I was at work with him, seeing him do it and stuff, still digging with the shovel and everything, it was like, man, like he's been doing this since I was this big, since he was 18, every day, just to provide for us, even on the days he didn't want to. So I feel like working with him and seeing what he does definitely made me just open my eyes up and appreciate him a little bit more. But I don't know. I also took into consideration, like, now that I'm older and I get to talk to him, like, one-on-one when we're working together or anything, and I ask him about, like, my childhood and just him as a young adult, a young parent, like, and understanding, like, what him and my mom were going through at the time, like, and after their divorce, and just, I understand a lot more now and how hard it was on him. Like, I can't imagine losing your best friend. So, I don't know. I feel like our relationship is pretty good today. I wouldn't trade him. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. At what age did you get a divorce?
Let's see, that'd be about before I turned 30.
And how old were you, Carter?
I don't know. Second grade, first grade. What year was that?
2010?
So I was
2009.
What month? Do you know?
May.
So I was 9.
Yeah, so
I was 9.
You were 9, and then Kat was, I don't even know how.
She's 3 years younger than me.
Oh, okay. It's about 6.
She was 5 or 6.
I can't be right then. It's be 2007. Because Catherine was 3.
Really?
Yeah.
Dang.
Kat was 3.
So I was 6.
She was 3 to 4.
So I was 7.
Fixing to be 4.
Man. Yeah. Really young.
Yeah.
Really young. Even for you, even 30, that's
I
still
felt
young.
old at the time.
Man, so what made you realize, okay, this is something I have to do? Like you were saying, like, yeah, the marriage was good, and then it just, like,
Well, I mean, we had our rocky patches for sure because, Andy was bipolar, suffered severe depression, followed by mania, super high, and it was a whirlwind most of the time. And we would get on medication and we'd have good periods, but her levels would just be off and she'd be depressed and she'd stop taking medicine. And I'm not blaming everything on her by any means whatsoever, but it just got to a point where I wasn't in a good place because of constantly being in fear at work if she was okay or not,
yes.
So I came home, and the day I decided, it was because Catherine was outside. She had decided to take her medicine, but it made her sleep. So it was late in the day when she should have been up taking care of Catherine. She was out by the street, a diaper, a bag of chips, and I was just like, something's got to give here, So I made the decision. It was a hard decision to make, but I did.
Yes.
Looking back, beat myself up on it for years, but I don't know what I could have done different. I know now that there's not anything I could have done. I had to protect the kids,
Yes, sir.
in the world we live in. The only way to do that is through paper.
Gotcha. And you were saying that affected you really, like, pretty bad.
Yeah, like up until filing for a divorce, I knew what my vows were. I knew what the words meant, but it never hit me like it did the day I filed for divorce. Like I'm really breaking something here.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Not only to myself, to God, to my kids. It really hurt. I don't wish it on anybody.
Yeah. I don't either.
Yeah, I'm in a great place now. My wife is the most wonderful woman you can ever ask for. But I wouldn't be where I'm at if I didn't go through what I went through,
Yes, sir. When you say protected, that you were protecting your kids, what exactly from what? Like just from what they might experience or what they might see?
Oh, no, complete recklessness. I mean, I don't want to talk ill, but I mean, it was just
Yeah,
fear. I mean,
Yes, sir.
the kids were in danger, physically in danger, mentally in danger.
Yeah.
I remember like the other day at work, you told me when you saw in the paper about that woman that had bipolar or something and killed your kids.
That was the scariest thing. Is I don't know how old you even are, or if you would even know this.
37.
I had never even heard of bipolar until we were going through it. And at the same time we were going through it, there was a case on TV about a woman named Andrea Yates. I don't know if you remember that or not, but she was diagnosed bipolar, but she was suffering from postpartum depression. But she killed her kids, and that was going on at the news the first time we were going through this with their mom.
Okay.
And
Gotcha.
I don't know, just going to all the doctor's visits that we did over the years, it's scary. Mental illness is real, very real. And
Yes, sir.
there's a lot of good medicine out there. It's just hard to get people on it because of the way society is.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Society, man, it can ruin somebody's life saying that this isn't true and this, like, no, mental illness is definitely real. And people may make fun of it or whatever, but man, if you've never been through it or experienced, like how you have, or even myself, like, then they don't know. All they know is what they read, and then from there it's like, that can't be true. No, it's definitely real.
And if you do have loved ones that are, you need a support group for sure, because I didn't have one really. And even at the time, I didn't realize the toll it was taking on me, not only physically but mentally.
Yes, sir.
Because you start believing that there's something wrong with you, you know.
Yeah.
And, it could be. I mean, you could be so tired because I had sleepless nights, you know.
Mm.
But I don't know how much more to say on it. But
Yeah, no, that's good. And I'm glad that you said that just having that support group, having somebody there you can go and talk to, and because yeah, it can be draining. I know it can be very draining.
yeah, your family, they love you, uh, but they don't know how much to be involved, and they still want to give you a private life. I get it. It's not something people want to just jump into.
Mm.
So definitely go be around people that are going through it also, or have been through it.
Yes, sir. Yeah. No, that's good. I'm glad you said that. That's good. It's very good. Growing up without a mom, did that, like, I know we've talked about it, but how was that on you with them, like, not having their mom?
Incredibly hard. Like, especially with Andy, the way she was, where she'd be on medicine and off medicine, having to take her in and out of their lives, having to be the one that says that, you feel horrible. It's a hard enough situation as it is, but having to be the one that delegates when it's okay or not.
Mm-hmm.
And things will be going along fine. They're visiting her for months, and then all of a sudden, she's off her medicine, and it's not a good situation again.
No.
It's horrible. Seeing your babies bawling and crying, and you caused it. I mean, not purposefully, but you caused that pain.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and then again too, like you said, it's not something, it's not your fault either.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do know the consequences of that. Just them,
The whole time
family.
going through it, I don't know if my kids are going to blame me for this. That's all that was going through my head.
Yeah. And did they ever blame you once growing up? Like maybe when they were teenagers and they actually understood everything. Did they ever blame you once?
No.
That's good. That's good.
If they did, they didn't.
Never.
But I always tried to be open. I felt like I was a lot more honest with my kids. Not that parents aren't honest with their kids, but I went to the extreme of we didn't do Santa Claus, any of that stuff, because I wanted my kids to know that I was going to tell them the truth, no matter what, And that's how extreme I went.
And that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any regrets. I always kind of felt later on like, did I rob my kids of that, but now I say no.
No, that's good. And I'm glad you said that too, because sometimes, yeah, it is hard for a parent to be open and honest with their kids, because you may think like, oh, this can ruin them, and maybe blame you later on. But no, I think that's perfect. I think that's good, especially coming from a father. I don't know. I'm just real big on a father's love, and I feel like that's what you've been since all this happened. Like you've been there for them, and they know that you've loved them through all of this. Even maybe you, like you said, you weren't perfect, but they know that you love them, though. And that's awesome. It's amazing. I respect you for that too. Like that's so awesome. I'm gonna have to backtrack a little bit, but when you had Catherine, how was that? I know you just had two boys, and then now to have a girl. What was that like? And I know I'm backtracking from way back,
fine.
but I meant to ask you this earlier, and I'm like, I better ask him now before I forget.
Well, we had we were planning on two, so Catherine was really a surprise. I mean, blessing.
Yeah.
Got a daughter finally. So I was excited. At the same time, very fearful because now we're dealing with his mom's illness as well, too. That was very scary.
Yeah.
Of course, through a pregnancy, she wasn't going to be able to take her medication, and I was very scared.
Mm. Man. Yeah, I couldn't even imagine that. Like, just
But
thinking.
actually, it was probably even for her mentally, it was probably the smoothest pregnancy she went through. I feel like.
That's good.
Praise God.
Yeah.
Yeah, praise God. I know. Yes, sir. So, like, what was your relationship like with her, with Kat?
Um, it's really good. I mean, I guess for the longest time, I treated her like one of the boys. When it was just us, 'cause it was a rough house. She was tomboy, but
She wanted to follow me everywhere.
yeah, she wanted to do everything Carter was doing.
Mm.
I guess that's probably normal, no matter if you're still together or not. But
Yeah.
I realized that all along that mother figure was going to be lacking, and of course it was, and it still is at times. I mean, she has women in her life, thankfully, but it definitely hurt our relationship. I think if she would have had, because I didn't know how to be that for her. We had in-depth talks about uncomfortable things that dads don't want to talk about.
Oh
but,
man, yeah.
You just can't fill that void.
Mm-hmm.
No matter if you want to, you can't.
Yes, sir.
Same for a single mom. She can't fill that void. You say, "Well, father's love."
Oh
just
yeah,
can't fill
no,
it.
not at all, not at all.
I guess going through that, I gained a whole new respect for single moms. When I started going through it, it was just like I don't have a clue how these women do it.
Yeah. I even to this day, sometimes I'm like, man, I don't know how my mom did it. Like, I really don't, because it seems like, I mean, she did an awesome job, I believe, but man, I don't know how she did it either, because I was a pain growing up, but she's always there. She's always been there. And she couldn't be that father figure, but still, like, I don't know. Got a lot of respect for my mom though too. You're married again.
Mm-hmm.
How long you been married now?
You're gonna get me in trouble. I guess 3 going on 3
Don't
years.
look at me.
Dang.
Yeah.
You think your wife will see this?
I hope not. No, it's going on 3 years now.
3
We've been
years,
married.
awesome. 3 years. So how is that for you though? Like, now you do have a mom in your life.
I love Misty. Misty, she does a good job. She's probably, because after my mom and their divorce, like, there was other mother figures that stepped into our lives, but I wouldn't say they were great mother figures, I guess. Like, I don't know, it was just, my mom was my mom, like, and I loved her a lot, and I was comfortable with her. It was that I feel like moms are someone you can just sit down and talk to and not be afraid of anything. Like, I remember being young and, like, being afraid to talk to you about some things that I wasn't afraid to talk about with my mom. Just, I don't know, it's just a comfort thing, I don't know. So after these other women, they, like, coming into our life, just, I don't know, and it not being genuine, not being real, like, I think it left, I don't think I deal with it as bad as, like, my sister does, but it left a bad taste in our mouth, I think. But I can say that Misty, like, genuinely loves us, and I had already graduated and everything, so I wasn't there when she moved in, but I genuinely, like, know that she loves us and she'll do anything for us. But, like, just speaking for my sister Catherine, like, she never had to depend on a mom, and I feel like that shaped her into who she is today. She's just super independent, gets her stuff done, like, almost like she has a chip on her shoulder. I don't know, just out to prove something, I feel like sometimes. And she's a little stud.
I mean,
Super
but that's
proud of
good
her.
though.
Yeah.
But who did she learn that from?
Yeah.
From you. So
Definitely.
I don't know Andrew. I've never
Yeah.
met him. So, but just knowing Carter and Catherine, like, man, you did an awesome job. I'm proud of you.
I absolutely did not do it alone, though. I mean,
Yeah.
my mom and dad are wonderful
Yeah.
there for me. I mean, we had our own home life. I did do it alone and all.
I would say my grandma was a huge mother figure to us through it all. She was, I don't know, always willing to cook us something or pick us up from school or get us to where we needed to be when he couldn't. So I would definitely give her a lot of thanks for what she did for us growing up, for sure. And not just her, but also my mom's mom, my other grandma. She was there too at times when she did live here.
And his brother Andrew. If it wasn't for Andrew, I because first my parents were still living in Houston. They had transferred out there for my dad to finish his working career to retire, and they weren't here yet. And Andrew, I felt horrible for the lion. We've talked about it several times. He has no resentment. He said it molded him into who he is, having to step up and help me take care of the younger two. But I always felt like I was kind of robbing him, but he he did it in stride. He loves them.
Oh, that's good.
Absolutely.
That's good. Do you think that what's your wife's name?
Misty?
Misty. Do you think that you can be that, like, as close to Misty as you were with your mom?
I think if she would have came into our lives when I was young, like when my first stepmom came into our life, like when I was in junior high or fifth grade, is that when Danielle came into our life? I feel like if she would have been in the picture like since then, yeah, I still feel comfortable around her. I wouldn't say as close as I was with my mom, but I don't know. I feel like I could talk to her if I needed to.
Yeah.
I feel like I have talked to her about some stuff.
No, that's good.
Yeah, you've had conversations with her that surprised me.
That's good. So you guys, I know Carter had said that y'all actually have some pretty deep conversations. That's man, I love that. I love that. Like, I'm not gonna ask you what y'all talk about, but man, like, I do love that. That's awesome.
Yeah. I'm happy I'm at a place where I can ask him deep questions, and not only like me asking questions, but I know he can ask me questions, and he knows that I'll be straight up with him. And I know he'll be straight up with me and give me the honest truth, even if I'm not gonna like it.
Yeah, it's interesting and fun when your kids get out on their own and they start thinking for themselves and come back and have conversations with you. I'm way thankful for the time that we've gotten to have at work because we get to do this so much together. But to see how he thinks about things and what's influencing him, it's it's fun to watch because they're not just taking from you anymore.
Yeah.
They're thinking on their own, and it's a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, no, that's good. You had said when he dropped out of college, you didn't feel like he had direction, I guess. So, like, how did that make you feel, and what kind of thoughts were you having when that happened?
Well, he did it in such a cheesy way, and I know he was doing it because he was chicken. But he did it. He told me through text, and he waited till I was out of town to actually move away from college. Maybe you didn't do it by plan, but I think it was by design to to go ahead and break the ice before he had to see me.
Yeah.
I couldn't talk to him on the phone because he was my number one fan, you know. And
Yeah, I
I
guess.
knew
Yeah, that was. He wrote me a letter. That's right. You did write me a letter. Basically, he felt like he had broke my heart by leaving college.
I did. I bawled like a baby, and then when I called my grandpa, I would say he's my second biggest fan. Like I was on the phone with him, sitting in my dorm, and I had to hang up because I was bawling, because I just felt like I was letting him down. It was tough on me for a while. I felt like I felt like you were just pissed at me for a while. I think he was just frustrated with me, and it was just out of love for sure. But yeah,
So when y'all did talk, how was that?
I guess I can't lie. I mean, I was very upset because I felt like it was something he had been chasing his whole life. You know, he wanted to play basketball in college, and he got there. But he told me later that he'd already made up his mind before we even went to the college that he didn't think he wanted to play anymore. He didn't know how to tell me.
I don't want to play there. I remember telling you, like, I know I'm not going to like it here. I don't know. It's in the past.
No, it is in the past. But it was a big shock. Even when I heard, I'm like, what? Like, no, like, dude's good. Why would? But no, I mean it. I believe that. I mean, every choice you make is still going to lead you and put you where you need to be. You know, whether it's a good or bad choice, it's.
Looking at it now, I feel like I said, I didn't know who I was apart from basketball. Like when you heard the name Carter Johnson, like you instantly thought basketball. I feel like anyone who knew me connected me to basketball. So quitting, it was like a slap to the face. Like who are you? You know, I didn't know. For a while, for a long time, I would say, until I moved back to Seminole just here recently and rededicated my life to Christ. For sure, I was lost.
Now find out who you really are.
Yeah, I felt like I always had a good head on my shoulders and wanted to do good, but I was just lost trying to find it in the world, you know? And when I came home and just laid it down to God and just gave him my life, it just, a whole new comfort, a whole new peace, for sure. I don't know. I don't regret quitting or anything.
Yeah.
Who knows where I'd be if I didn't quit, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
I know. Like you told your dad everything. Well, of course he heard the podcast, right?
Yeah.
So when you found out that he was into drugs, like how did that make you feel?
I
like,
told him that before the podcast and everything.
Yeah. Of course it hurt, you know. But at the same time, I knew something had been up because we weren't talking for months like we normally would.
Mm.
I knew something was going on. I honestly didn't think it was drugs, though. Because he had just made it so long, like going through hospital without even trying anything. I didn't believe that was what it was. I knew he was struggling. I just didn't know how.
Yeah.
That was one of the things, you know, I knew something was going on, but all I could do was let him grow, let him stretch and grow, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew when he left college, I was really upset because I knew he didn't have a direction, and I knew what was possible, but you had to go let him do it. I mean, you know.
Yeah. Yes, sir. I thought he was gonna say. I thought you were gonna say. You know, so moving back, I know it was tough.
Yeah.
It had to have been tough. You know, you moved back home, right? So how was that? Like him coming back home?
After college?
Yeah.
Or just recently.
Well,
No.
okay, so when I quit college, like he was gone on a cruise away for a week. So I had a week at the house before they got back. I did not want to face him. Like I just felt so looked down upon. I don't know. So that's when I moved to Oklahoma with Alex and Bailey and all the guys that were going to Rhema, and was lost, super lost. Like they were looking for a roommate just to pay rent, you know? And I was supposed to be that guy, and I was a poor roommate. I just depressed, I don't know. Just no money in my pocket, like just nothing. Just, it was dark and it was just a month. I didn't have nothing there. I was just sleeping on the ground there in a room. But I don't know, when I moved back, I felt like it was awkward. And as soon as I took the job in the oil field, like I moved out pretty quick. Like I would say 2 or 3 weeks after I got my first 2 paychecks. Got my own apartment. I don't know. What do you think it was like? I just felt like he was still mad at me, still frustrated with me.
Yeah, I mean, I was, but I think you moved out so quick because you wanted to prove that you could make it. I feel like.
Yeah, that, and I don't know. I wanted to get out. I don't know. I didn't like facing you every day. I just felt looked down on.
I feel like I hate that you felt like I was looking down on you. Makes me feel bad.
Bro, that's how you made me feel. Like anytime basketball was brought up, shouldn't have quit college. Like, kind of rubbing it in my face for quitting. Just making me feel, I don't know, like a quitter. Like I felt weak to you.
You still feel like that now?
No. Nope. Whatever he may think, like, nah. Like if he still feels that way, nah. Like, I don't know if he's still frustrated. Like, I'm confident where I'm at right now.
And I can tell that you're confident, and I know he loves working with you.
Mm-hmm.
Just talking to him, you know, and here and there, like I know he loves working with you, and I believe like that. Like I said, choices you make are still going to lead to where you need to be. So I think that you think it was all worth it?
Yeah, absolutely. God's working out a plan in everyone's life, you know.
Oh yeah. Yes, sir.
Especially if you've already like had those seeds planted, and like if you've already had that relationship with God at one point in your life, and you stray away, like He's gonna draw you back in, like slowly but surely. And
to kind of be where He's at, like if that were to happen to me, I'd probably feel the same way. Because I was even at a young age, 9, 8, 7, playing t-ball. Like baseball was my number one sport back then. That's what my dad loved. So I had no choice. I was gonna play regardless. It's like, no, you're playing. Even when I said, hey, I don't want to play, he'd be like, okay, you come back, you're playing. Like it didn't matter.
Yeah.
So didn't matter what I did. I can make the greatest play in the world, and to him it's like, and you could have did better.
Right.
So I know how you feel. Like growing up, it's like, man, I could have did better. I could have did this better. I could have did that better. Like I know the feeling of having to, like, if I had a dad, to face him and like, man, I don't know, Dad. Like I don't know what to tell you, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, maybe you may not have to deal with that either, you know, when you have kids. But
Right.
I don't know. Like it is tough though. It's tough. To me, it was.
Yeah.
But now it's better.
Yeah.
And I don't want my kids to ever feel like they can't come to me either, because I know the feeling too of, man, I don't want to tell my dad. Let me just go tell my mom. Like I don't want them to feel that either. So
Right.
I do try to be there as much as I can and love them even when they make mistakes, because I know it's hard.
Yeah.
It's very hard when your kids make a mistake, when they make a wrong choice, and you're like, you don't know what else to do. It's like, man, I'm trying to train you right, but you're not listening to me. Or it's just, so I know the feeling. I know how it is to be frustrated when something happens. But man, I know I can relate to both. But I can tell now, like, y'all's relationship is better, way better than what it used to be.
I feel like it's, I don't know, in a way, kind of realer.
More real.
Yeah.
Really?
Realer. More real.
We're hitting words over here.
Yeah. Add that to the dictionary.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something I didn't even know that happened. I didn't know you felt that way. Yeah, it kind of makes me feel bad that I made you feel bad.
And I think as parents, sometimes we don't realize that.
That's just like we were talking earlier about my dad saying what he said to me about not graduating.
Mhm.
It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
I know he was saying it out of love, you know.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Yeah. No,
But I didn't know it at the time.
Yeah. Man, this is good. This was good. Like I just even getting to know you, because I never met you before.
Yeah,
So
I've heard about you, but I
never met you. It was an honor to meet you. And I'm glad you opened up about pretty much everything. You know, I love it. I love it. And you're doing an awesome job. I mean, you have some amazing kids.
I do.
I've had both of them in youth. Was both of their leaders in youth. So watching them grow, it's like, man, like these are They're awesome. You know, both of them are.
Yeah, and I have gratitude to the church too. For y'all being there for them. I mean, y'all were big influences on my kids' lives in that youth group. I feel like it was good direction for them. Don't you feel like?
Yeah, seeds are being planted, whether I was paying attention at the time or not. Like, I feel like that's when I genuinely encountered the presence of the Lord. Just walking in and feeling loved and just experiencing it, you know?
Yeah.
And I know there was Wednesdays where I was paying attention, and there was Wednesdays where I wasn't paying attention, but seeds are being planted for sure.
Going for the right reasons and not a
Yeah.
girl, right?
Yeah. But like just knowing when I was living in Denton doing really bad, like making bad decisions, in the back of my head I knew better. Because I knew, like in high school, I never did any of that stuff. Never drank, never had any interest to go smoke weed or do any of that. So while I was in Denton, I knew in the back of my head that I was better than this, you know. And there was times where I wanted to change. Like I attempted going to church, you know, like wanted to get baptized at one point while I was there. And it's just the environment that I was in. Nothing bad against those guys or anything. They're just all young college guys that were just experiencing, you know. And meanwhile, like behind closed doors, my closed bedroom door, like I'm battling, you know, in my head, in my thoughts. And
Do you think any of those guys are too?
I don't think any of those guys have experienced a real relationship with God, like a genuine relationship. And it's cool that they still follow me on Instagram, so they still get to see like all my posts and just how much I've changed. And I still like reach out to them and text them sometimes, and they're like, man, like you've really made it like a big change in your life. And I just kind of like open up about them and tell them about what Jesus has done in my life.
Are they receptive to that or standoffish?
I wouldn't say they're standoffish. Like, they're good dudes. Like, they were engineering majors and smart dudes, like smart guys that will probably be successful in life. And I don't know. I would say at the time while I was there, he was my best friend, Tommy. And he reached out to me the other day saying that he finally learned how to roll a blunt. And the Holy Spirit convicted me, like, are you going to go along with that? And, like, congratulate him for it. So I didn't congratulate for it. I was like, man, like, if I was to go along with this, I'd just be acting like it's all right, that it's cool. And I just told him, like, it says in the Bible to stay sober. And this is something I really dealt with hard when I came back to Seminole. And he didn't text me back for a while. And our relationship has kind of been rocky ever since. But I know that he knows I still love him. I don't look at him any different, you know? I don't know. It's crazy. I just feel like people who don't have a relationship with God or even like go to church or anything, like they had never have experienced the genuine presence of the Lord. Like, you can't deny it when you're in it, you know? So I love those guys. I don't know. I'm excited. I'm going back there in April to get my stuff there's some stuff that I left, so I'm excited to see them. I don't know.
Oh, so you have some stuff there.
So they're gonna see me again in person. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Be a good conversation
there. Yeah, absolutely. Might even be a little awkward at first, but it'll be good.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good.
And I always knew, like, while I was there, I had people, because I wanted to get rid of all that stuff and have a relationship with God. And I had people that I could reach back to. Like, I remember reaching out to Chris and Mike at one point. I don't know. I wanted to change, but it was hard when my environment was what it was. I remember even giving all my stuff away at one point, like my bong, my rolling tray, like everything that I had, giving it away to the guys that lived across the street. Because I wanted to change, but it was hard.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, when you're around that, especially all the time, then, yeah, it's going to be tough to change for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's impossible, but it's next to impossible if you're not going to remove yourself from that situation.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I will say that to anyone who is struggling, like who wants to change but doesn't know how. Like, you gotta change your surroundings. Like, whoever you are around is how you're gonna be. I don't know. It's true though. It's so true.
You keep saying I don't know. I'm gonna tell you, you do know. I'm gonna let you know you do know. Okay, you know. And I listen. You know, I don't know. Yeah, you know. I believe you're on the right track. You have the right words to say to people. I mean, you're a leader. There's older people that are already looking up to you and know that you're a leader. So believe that, know that, run with it.
Appreciate it.
You did start humble training. How's that going?
Good. I'm supposed to be getting a key sometime this week. It's not as consistent as I'd like it to be, but it's something I'm believing that'll grow. I think it will.
It's been exciting to watch because I know how dedicated you are towards it, and to see not only doing it for what it is for basketball, his approach to it of letting God bring it to him has been a real proud parent moment for me to watch. And just watch it, it's just like exploding, it's kid after kid after kid. And I know you can just see it. It's the happiness about him again, to be back around the sport and around kids. I think he was meant to work with kids. I've always thought that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, definitely. Whenever he helped me coach, I mean, yeah, he did awesome. You can just tell the way he would get involved and just speak into their lives, like it was. Yeah, it's a calling that he has for sure. Definitely. Like I said, I was just the owner. Y'all the head coach. Whatever. I was just there. But man, is there anything else like maybe you'd like to ask each other, or I know I told you if there's anything you wanted to ask your dad, you're like, I don't know. Like, all right. We already have deep conversations anyway, so
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well,
Because I told him, he asked me, like, you can ask me anything if you want. I was like, I feel like I've kind of asked him all this stuff I've wanted to ask him. I don't know. I know.
no, that's all good.
That's enjoy getting to work with each other every day. We've talked about everything.
Oh, that's good. Man, well, I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too.
This was good, man. This is good. Like, I haven't done one of these. You were the last one. It's been a while since
It's been months.
Yeah, it has been months since we've done a podcast. So I was nervous. I'm always nervous before the podcast, but man, when you let Holy Spirit move, like he moves, and I enjoyed it. I just want to thank you guys again for joining me. Glad y'all opened up. It's what it's about. It's just about being real, being yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is. But all right, man. I guess that's all we got. If you do, if you have kids, any of you have kids, what age are you training?
I would say, I don't know, I'm training a 4th grader. I would say 4th and up.
4th and up.
With the occasional exception if they're good at a younger age.
Bring them to him good already.
So yeah, if you do have a kid who is in basketball, and is decent, I guess. No, I don't know. But if you do have somebody from 4th and up, contact Carter Johnson. He does have a Instagram page, Humble Training. It's on there, and then you can also follow him on Instagram too, as Carter Johnson. I don't even remember what it was.
What is it?
I don't remember your Instagram.
Carter Sam.
Oh, I thought it was Carter Johnson, but what is it?
Carter Sam.
Carter Sam?
Carter Sam.
You can put it in the
I'll
video.
put it in the description,
There you go.
or I'll have Super Dave do that. Yeah, Super Dave is back. But I mean, James is also helping out too. But man, he is about to have, well, not about to have a baby, but he is soon to be father. So I'll let him have a break today. But if he don't come back next time, he's fired. No, I'm just kidding, James. You know I love you. But man, again, Chris and Carter, thank you guys.
Absolutely.
It was amazing. I love it, man. I love it. I love to see, just father son. Like that's what I strive to be. I strive to, I don't know, just to have that relationship with my son too, and my daughters. But I don't know. I'm not gonna say I don't know, but I just want that, man. It's awesome to see that. But until next time, this is it. We are out. Peace. What's up, everybody? My name is Jeremy Duran, host of the No Holds Podcast. I just want to thank you all for tuning in. Follow us on social media. Subscribe on YouTube. We are also on iTunes and Spotify. And remember, love is key. Peace.